Welcome back to Stock Watch. Now joining me live in the studio is Cheng Hooi of Maybank Investment Bank, here to answer my questions about the KLCI specifically right now. We have an email question for you, Cheng Hooi. It is, what is the support and resistance level from the KLCI? Okay, for support we pitch it at 12.33 and 12.48. Resistance, we saw a high at 12.88, so that will be the resistance, as well as 13.05 in our opinion. Yeah. Okay. Now, moving on to currency and interest rates, how do you see the currency and interest rates currently affecting the world equity markets? Well, we have a meeting coming up on 15 and 16 in December in USA. That's what's called the US FOMC meeting, and they expect to keep interest rates at a very low level for some unforeseeable future. What happens with low interest rates is it will fuel movements into stock markets, because they will chase higher returns, these hedge funds and investors, etc. So I think they will create a stock market bubble eventually. So long as interest rates remain low, what the hedge funds will probably do is to go into US dollar as well as yen carry trades, and of course, you know, boost stock markets, stocks, commodities, assets, whatever, upwards. That's what's caused the downturn in 2007 and 2008, you know, when they started unwinding the yen carry trades, the hedge funds. That's why you saw, you know, commodities like oil falling from $146 a barrel now to $30 a barrel. That's actually quite timely that you mentioned that, because we have an email question from Muhammad Mizam, and he wants to know about gold price, especially because the forecast about future price and your forecast about future prices in 2010. Well, we've been very bullish on gold. We obviously read foreign reports, and one of the people that we respect is people like Jim Rogers and all that. Personally, we have our own opinion on gold. Once it broke 1033, that was the highest point in the earlier part of the year. We are looking at about 1,003 at least per troy ounce US dollars. And we believe that if dollars, it's still going to have low interest rates and people are very jittery about US dollars, the wise investors will still, you know, flow into gold. So in terms of commodities, is that an area that you would recommend? I think gold is the strongest commodity, with perhaps oil and the hard and the soft commodities, not quite in that same mold. I mean, demand and supply, you know, from a weakened global economy would actually determine the level of price of crude oil, say. But I think the wise investors are really flowing into gold. That's why you see it at about, I think, above 1,002 per troy ounce now. Okay, so I hope that answers Muhammad Mizam's question. Now, in the last week, Cheng Hooi, we've heard that Bank Negara has given approvals to Jerneh Asia and Paramount Corp to start discussions on selling their stakes in Jerneh Insurance, Berhad. What's your view on this piece of news, and the central bank approvals in particular? Okay, I can't comment on central bank approvals and all that, but the approval has been given, and I personally like the chart patterns there. We think that both of them are in strong uptrends. Jerneh itself, I think, is a bit more liquid than Paramount. The parties that could be interested in that stake could be, I think, one insurer from Italy, one from South Korea, and possibly even UK's HSBC Group. Right. Yeah. Okay, now we have another email question from our regular viewer, Victor Aoyong, and he wants to know how the Copenhagen Summit, next week will likely affect the market. I think the markets in Malaysia generally are very, very boring, and I don't think any summit or, you know, Dubai-like sort of thing will affect the market very much adversely or positively. After the initial volatility of Dubai on Monday, we became mired in like a 2-3 point range for basically most of Tuesday to Friday last week. And it was indeed very boring. We were almost like, you know, oh, no need to look at the index, you know, we'll close around 1270. I think it will be very much the same for the remainder part of the year, whereby when the fund managers goes off for their break, and I think everybody is winding down after quite a tumultuous year, not much activity, even, you know, window dressing would be present. I think the market has gone up so much, perhaps not much window dressing would even be present. Okay, now this is my final question, just to round things up, since this is our last show for the season. What are your thoughts on how the market will be for the first 2 weeks of 2010?
Okay, I believe that 2010 will probably see a new beginning. We will probably see volatility and potential asset bubbles forming, equity bubbles forming. Everything has gone up pretty much in a straight line. Bird flu H1N1 has not affected the market. The Dubai thing has not affected the market. But I think 2010 will bring about a volatile year. The markets are going up indeed. But I think when things change, like interest rates start going up, or other type of unforeseen events, what we call a black swan event, that can suddenly just jerk the market out its uptrend in its complacency sort of state, then there could be potential downside. I'd like you to bring you back to the 1974, which we had OPEC oil crisis, 1986 as well as 1998. These 12-year cycle troughs, and next year happens to be that sort of cycle trough. What we actually doing at Maybank Investment Bank is this: at the beginning of next year, on the 9th of January 2010, we have a big retail forum, and with foreign speakers. This will be at the SC, I think 9 a.m. And I think people, retailers, value investors can come to that event and see what our foreign speakers have to say for that, besides our view, besides our reading our daily view.
All right, that would be great. So in the meantime, while Stockwatch is not on air, at least they can still hear from you gentlemen in Maybank. Thank you very much, Cheng Hooi. Okay, that was Cheng Hooi of Maybank Investment Bank joining us live here in our studio. And so we come to the end of Stockwatch for tonight and for the season. Next week onwards, our team goes on a much-needed break, but rest assured, Stockwatch will return to your screens again soon. In the meantime, if you have any questions about investing that we can help you with, or suggestions on how we can improve our show for the next season, please do continue to email us at stockwatch@tv3.com.my. You can also catch any interviews you may have missed on our blog at stockwatchproducer.blogspot.com. On behalf of the Stockwatch team, I'm Shani Manli. Good night.